What's going on, everybody? It's Anthony from hashtag Be the Change. Truth will set you free. Blunt force discussion. This is an episode of Truth Will Set You Free with Casey Rasmussen. Rocky Stooch is probably going to be here a little bit later, which reminds me I didn't even put the newest banner up, which I will do right now. Casey, what's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. Just traveling again, enjoying time getting away as much as I can, but watching the world go into some weird place. Like, since when can we say, which we'll touch on this topic later, the shooting happened due to a mostly white Asian person? Like, really?
They didn't actually say that, did they?
CNN did it.
No.
Yes. There is pictures going around the internet showing they put mostly white.
Please tell me, can you find that? I didn't even, I thought that was, I saw somebody say that and I thought that was a joke. Jeez, everybody hit the like button, hit the share button. We have a lot to get to. I don't know how much we will get to. We're going to talk about Oliver Anthony giving his life to God. It turns out he's talking a little bit about this and how it was like right before his career took off. It's one of those ones that's like, wow. That's a heck of a testimony. Tribal police in Nevada. I didn't originally mention this on the description. We're going to talk about how tribal police don't F around with some climate protesters and just the whole logic of those climate protesters causing more carbon dioxide and fuel and emissions to go in the air because they're causing a traffic jam. It's basic common sense. And then you've got Biden. If we get to this, Biden is now saying that when Biden was 21 years old, he told Strom Thurman he helped him put the Civil Rights Act together. I'm pretty sure he's just making things up at this point. Jemele Hill makes statements about Nikki Hayley being a racist. Jacksonville hate crime ignites a call for the need to question the narrative. We'll talk about the mostly white Asian guy. And then let's talk about, I'm going to start the show once we get back from doing the countdown, talking about my weekend at the Clay Clark Reawaken event, some of the things that happened. I can't use all the names and the words. What, Casey? What's the matter?
Well, you're going to talk about your mugshot where you couldn't keep your pants on? Like,
my pants
were going to air your dirty laundry?
It was up against, I took the mugshot up against the wall at the Trump because they set that up for people. It was hilarious. I was at the Trump hotel. Anyways, let's see. Sure. Yeah, let's see. And then we'll talk about Trump's rising popularity with the mugshot. With that said, looking at everybody in the comments, Aaron, what's going on? Marla, Azraelina, I like that name. I dig it. Let's see. And we're all wearing the same hat at the same time. Rose is in with us. So if you like the hat, that's what I'm going to throw it up on the bottom. We'll get the show started in about 1 minute. Again, keep hitting the like button. We're back on YouTube, yet no one is watching it on YouTube, which I find interesting. Oh, wait. No, yeah, there are. 1, 2, 6 people on YouTube. So we're back on YouTube after our 2-week jail stint. Still don't know why, really, what was said in that episode that was so wrong. Here is I lied. It's not the one. I did not organize the way that I wanted it to. It's actually not even there. Where is that banner? It's on the bottom. I'm an idiot. I'm a gigantic moron. There it is. Use the code. Actually, right now, there's some stuff on our website, the mugs. And for anything on the website, if you use the code REVENGE right now, we've got mugshot mugs and we've got t-shirt mugs that say or t-shirt mugshots that say revenge. If you use revenge, your whole cart is 20% off. So that's how you do that. There it is on the bottom. And as always, if you want to support, here you go. Let's go ahead and get the show started. Kick the tires, light the fires. Boom goes the dynamite. I'm not going to do the typical this because I have to immediately talk to Henry Thalacker, Dacker, dipshit Facker. Be the change you want to see in the world, revenge. I know that this is a troll statement, which is hilarious. So first off, this is truth will set you free. And by being the change in the world, sometimes you have to go and take the the current hierarchy and break them down, and it takes completely fine with me. If you want to get biblical and go and say, well, the revenge saith the Lord and all these different things, and if you're trying to troll Henry, cool, you're the person that I want revenge against. Anyways, on this episode, this is what we're going to talk about real fast. Oliver Anthony, let's see, Casey's going to go head in and head out real fast. Tribal police in Nevada, Biden talking about Strom Thurman at 21 years old. The insanity that is Joe Biden. Jemele, I'm going to go ahead and take this dipshit's comment off real quick. Sorry. I'm a little heated today. I just feel like being frisky. If you want a frisky show, you're going to get it. Jacksonville hate crime calls for the need to question the narrative. We're going to talk about the white guy that killed 3 black people. It was clearly a racist and unfortunate situation, but we're going to talk about how the media portrays these. And I'm going to start talking about my weekend in Las Vegas and a little bit about people around it. Let's see did Henry have anything to say? No, he didn't. Cool. All right. Let's see. First off, so Casey's going to like this. And I want to say the name because I don't want to make it a bigger issue than it needs to be because I don't think the authorities were ever called. So I'm at an event with a lot of conservatives, a lot of Trump's people circle around, a lot of different situations that, we have to uphold a different standard. We do. We are looked at as hateful, white supremacists because the media tells people to do that. It is what it is. So there's a couple things I noticed. First off, as a group, this one was I liked far better than the first one I went to. Most of the speakers were not too far out there. It wasn't Looney Tunes, which I know that it's not supposed to be, and I know that free speech lends itself to having some of those issues. But this was great. I don't want to say too much. You won't get banned, and you won't get banned unless you start getting mean to other people or just being completely disrespectful. You made one comment, I countered it because it was a dipshit comment, Henry. But you can make little quips. I'll just, I'll either choose to get distracted and tell you and put you in your place like the good little beta cuck that you are. God, Casey, I'm frisky today. I didn't see this one coming, not going to lie. So anyways, the big thing was this, and because I'm just as mad at our people as I am at the rest of the world. So there was somebody at the bar who is, at first the whole night was odd because I talked a little bit about it with Rocky last night. Rocky Stucci, there was a woman that was just, the whole situation was weird. She was rude to the waitress. She was like, she just thought she was just this level when she's really just a normal person. And it's very rude. And it's like, we need to be kind to people. If we're Christians, isn't that part of what we're supposed to be? Like, don't be a dipshit at a cafe. So that was the way the night started. And then we go to the Trump Hotel, like the actual Trump Hotel in Vegas, north end of the Strip. And everybody's drinking at the bar. And there's been a lot of like good things that, people have been singing the national anthem there, singing Pledge of Allegiance, like very patriotic group. But once you have alcohol, it doesn't give you an excuse to be a dipshit. Henry, you can be disrespectful, but the unfortunate thing is I have the microphone, so I get to make you look like a dipshit. That's how it works. You can look like an asshole. You can do it all you want.
So you know what he's doing? He's trying to make himself out as the victim.
Of course he is. Yeah, well, yeah, there will be a point where I stop. He's getting my motor running, which is what I wanted and needed. So anyways, so this is where I'm going to call out our own people. So there was a doctor at the bar that is very well known in the truth circle and the whatever you want to call it, our kind of people. 70 years old. She got too drunk. Okay. And like a lot of the people there, they were wasted. And I wasn't drinking. I haven't drank in like 7 weeks. I just haven't. And she made it kind of a fool of herself. She then went to go to a room. It turns out I found out there was a misunderstanding from her in the hotel because her room was supposed to be checked out. Somehow nobody got a hold of her leading up to it. So she's belligerently drunk. Her room, she can't get into a room. They're saying she's been checked out. I didn't know all this before she went belligerent and ballistic. So then they end up chasing her out of the hotel, essentially. And she's outside, hammered. And everybody that's on the conservative Republican side, this group, come to her defense to protect her, which was very odd. And I'm like, that you can go protect her. You take care of her by getting her to a different hotel so she does not make a fool of herself, right? So, needless to say, they get their cameras out like gosh darn LaQuisha.
Uh-oh. Did we lose you? Gosh darn LaQuisha. That's what did it for you? Now you're frozen? So who wants to make a guess on where Russo's going with this story?
I don't know.
There you go. Are you back?
My internet's not happy today. I don't know why. So anyways,
I blame LaQuisha.
LaQuisha. I say LaQuisha and it cuts out for son of a bee sting. So anyways, got the cameras out. They're doing all the things. And I'm like, has anybody considered the fact that she's in the wrong and we just need to get her out? You need to get her out, get her a different hotel, figure it out tomorrow when she's sober. She got to the point where she was too drunk, which is fine. We've all been there. Most of us have been there, but don't make her the victim. Like I got an argument with people who are like, that is a respected woman. They should just Google her. You're expecting them to Google her? Are you kidding me right now? So I said,
No.
What's the issue with her going to another? She deserves to be in this hotel. This is her hotel. Well, you know what? At this point, she's gotten too drunk. We don't know what she had said and how she pissed them off. Let's just get her off the property. Like, simple as that. Deal with it tomorrow. This is what we tell people all the time. And if you don't think a bunch of cameras out doesn't actually make the situation worse, I don't know. Like, we literally talk about this. It makes us look like, that makes us look racist. That makes us look hypocritical. That makes us look all the things, because apparently we can do it, but other people can't. And it just drove me nuts. So needless to say, that's it. Last thing about the other thing about the event across the board is we are under attack. Like, Vegas is a blue city. They couldn't hold the event where they wanted to hold it. They ended up having to get a tent. They got bullied by the city. They had to add $70,000 in security a day before. Otherwise, they were going to call off the event because there was bomb threats, because there was all these different things, because they're a group of ultra right-wing conservatives. They kept having to add how many air conditionings were in there. It turns out everybody besides me, I think, is sick from the event because they laid down ant killer before the event started, and everybody, like, there's people in the hospital right now that attended this event. It was dusty. It was really bad. Like, my throat was tickly, but it is what it is. Anyways, take responsibility for your actions. If you have a bad night, if you get too drunk, that is life. And the people around you need to be better, instead of like claiming, oh, that was the question I asked. Last thing I said, because they're like, she's a 70-year-old woman. They treated her, did she get touched? Did she get pushed? They're like, no. So she got told she had to leave. Yes. And I think I saw the wheels turning in their head going, maybe we are being a little bit ridiculous here. Anyways, we just need to be better, be kinder to people, set an example so we're not the asshole, conservative, crazy right-wing dipshits. That's it. That's all I got to say about that.
Maybe this is why you go along this, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Exactly.
Sounds like you had a whole lot of fun.
I did. Yeah, it was a blast. But actually, it was a really great event. I got to see Peter McCullough. I saw Stu Peters. I got to say hi to them. I talked to Jim Brewer for a bit. It's cool seeing some of these like really big names. I was actually a couple feet away from Don Jr. I'm a big Don Jr. fan. I have to. Did you see Don Jr. answer the question about if Michelle Obama is a dude?
No.
He was on a live. He was on a live stream
now,
and it came across the bottom. And he's like, he's reading, he's answering questions. He's like, he literally said like this. He goes, "Is Michelle Obama a dude?" I'm not. We can't say these things. Of course, I'm not gonna answer that question. I would love to see a picture of her when she was pregnant. That's all. It was so funny. Oh, it's so good.
Did we just say it's Michael Obama? It's Michael Obama. We already know that.
I'm not gonna say that, but I say the same thing as Don Jr. I just would like to see a real picture of her pregnant. That's all. That's all I want to see. Okay. I didn't know you smoked, Rose. I thought it was actually. How are you doing with your smoking, Barbara? Curious. It's been a while since we chatted. All right. Last thing, we'll do a little We'll do the advertisements. Let's see. So if you want a sport, here it is. The newest thing, we talked a lot about water last night, Rocky and I. This is water from my tap, which is actually going through the Century H2O filter. You can learn more about that. CenturyH2O.com. You could use Russo for 10% off. It's $300 with the discount. And you'll never need your Brita. You'll never need any of the different crap. It's better than reverse osmosis because it actually keeps minerals and brings some minerals back in, increases oxygen levels and alkalinity. Big fan of this product. That's actually why I was in Vegas, was learning more about that. Ian Smith is another one of the influencers for this. It's good stuff. And then last but not least, supplements wise, thedrartistshow.com, BFD at checkout for 10% off. All right, let's get to it. I'm going to leave this on the bottom of the screen. First topic, already talked about the event. Let's get right into the hate crime issue, and I'll be looking at the comments as well. Everybody knows there was a 26-year-old white guy that went into a dollar type store, Dollar General, Dollar whatever the heck, that came storming in. Actually, apparently he tried to go to historically black college earlier in Jacksonville, and then ended up going into the store and shooting people up. And his manifesto that they uncovered within 24 hours that he had written to the police, his mother, et cetera, across the board. He was a racist, hated black people, et cetera, and he was targeting black people and he was going to kill them. He used an AR and a handgun. I don't know what did the killing. Casey, you're shaking your head. What's up?
Well, I hate it. Like, how do we have the manifesto for this guy and we're still waiting on Nashville's manifesto? Is it Nashville?
Exactly.
Like, it bothers the hell out of me that all of a sudden we magically have a manifesto that fits the narrative that the media is pushing and the agenda of the U.S. government, and we magically have it like the day it happens. Nashville's manifesto was promised to be released by the police chief and many other people in charge over there. We still have yet to receive it, which is absolutely pathetic.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. You're right. And that was my big speaking point. It's like you can't say this isn't about narrative at this point. You look at any time and you'll say, did you find that CNN clip out of curiosity?
It was actually Fox News, and it's now showing up on Twitter as being fact checked as not true.
Not true. Okay, I had a feeling it seemed too good to be true. It seemed too good to be true. I was gonna call you out for that one. I was like, Casey,
well,
are you sure?
No, I'm glad you said it so I can go look it up again because I meant to go back and look it up and I never did.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
But yeah.
Let's see. What does Kish have to say? Let's see. So we have most tender killing, most I don't know what word he's looking for there. Mighty whites, trans, black, and Asian, using all different races to do these. I'm not sure what he's saying there. What is he saying?
Well, so he's saying you have all of these different races that are actually doing the shootings, but
yeah,
it is not it is not the traditional people in America. It is all of the extremists. And that is where we're coming from. The whole part that when we're looking at this situation, we have to start looking at each one individually. They are not, and it's not a gun problem. Like, to be clear, it's not a gun problem. It is a mental illness, and we have to start addressing it. And if you want to start looking at it as presidential candidates that is calling it out for who it is, for what it is, Vivek is the only one doing it. He is the only one calling these things a mental illness. And no one else is actually doing
that. The traditional race in America is not the Native Americans. They were the first ones here out of the group that we're talking about, but you're forgetting about the Nordics before that in the North. There's a whole bunch of different things we can get into. Oh, you're one of those. God, Henry, since we're short a guy on the show, would you like to join? If you would like to join, you are invited. I will give you the screen. That'd be much more fun. That would literally, my birthday's coming up in a week. That would make my world if you want. If you did, say yes. I'll put the link in the comments so everybody can see it. But everybody else, please don't click on it. It would just be for Henry if he's interested. So the other thing is this. So when you,
no thanks.
Well, that's a shocker. It's either a 16-year-old boy in his basement that's probably got his pants off, or doing God knows what. Yeah. Or it's like a 72-year-old white woman pretending to be Henry Thalacker. I don't know, or a suburban housewife. I don't know. So, anyways, so back to what I was saying. So, in all reality, the thing is this, I think it's good to know. And the fact that they're investigating this for it being a hate crime is the thing that, a lot of these people are forgetting. Like, why is that? Why are they investigating? Why are they doing that? The guy is dead. Everybody's dead that's involved. Like, if there is no accomplice. Why are they doing that? Because they need the statistic.
Yep.
And nobody's talking about that part. They need the statistics so that they can continue to say that white supremacy is the biggest threat to our democracy in this country. We're a constitutional republic. Our biggest threat to our democracy is white supremacy. They need the statistic. So they're going to spend FBI, DOJ, all these are going to spend the money on the extra investigations because they need it to fit the narrative that is parroted by the White House and our current government.
Yep. Well, and all of this is all setting up the same stuff as what they want is they want government involved in healthcare so they can implement red flag laws, which then slowly builds over time that somebody, a medical professional, could then say you are mentally ill and not capable of possessing a weapon. That's how they're going to do it.
Since we're fielding questions and we're going to finish this topic before we get off, we've been going back and forth with Vivek, whatever. So let's just answer the question real quick. Vivek he owned a pharmaceutical company. There's some fishy stuff about what's that?
Multiple, not just one, multiple.
Yeah, and one of them, he's got these research drugs. None of them are the pharmaceuticals, the big pharma that we look at. Not to say that there isn't good pharmaceuticals. It is a part of big pharma. I have my questions and I have my doubts. I've seen the anomaly videos. Casey said he's seen the Tatum videos. I think there's some issues to what Vivek is saying. I still really like him, and would like to believe that he is somebody that we can look at as a leader of this new conservative MAGA party, whatever you want to call it. I still like what he says. I do think that I have to watch him with a microscope because there are some questions based on some of the fellowships. And again, I know he got money from Soros, but that was just all that was
Soros?
What's that?
Which Soros?
The dad. He got it from the dad.
George Soros?
Yeah.
No, that foundation that he received the money was from Paul Soros, his brother.
Oh.
This is where
Soros Foundation, that money is funneled through George, right?
Really? No, Paul Soros is just as successful in life. He is just not as apolitical. And so you don't hear about him as much. He is dead today. And so when it comes down to it, this is where people are picking, just nitpicking words and trying to run with them, just like what they do with headlines in the news. They are just reading headlines and being like, see, they are controlled opposition. Not true. Not true at all. If you want to go back and look at it, he even addressed it in a video, and I hope Tatum gets this opportunity. Tatum's going to call him out and say, hey, I want you to address everything in this video. And that is referring to Anomaly's video. And when it comes down to this situation, it's ignorance. People won't do the research. They will just take everything in the video because some influencer said it, so it must be true. And it's partially true. He did get money from the Soros Foundation. The head of that foundation is Paul Soros, not George.
Interesting. So there's that. So that's already a piece of misinformation. Here's the thing. If something smells funny, if you're like, he's too perfect, he says all the right things, there's too many things wrong, just keep your ears. Don't discount somebody completely because they smell fishy when they're saying all the right things. His answer about Israel when he was on Hannity, I don't watch Hannity, and to be very clear, but I saw that clip. And it was a great answer. He goes, it's being completely taken out of context by lifetime politicians. What I'm saying about Israel is I want to build a strong enough relationship that I strengthen them in the next 4 years when I'm president, so they will not need our financial help. I want to strengthen foreign relations. So he had a great answer to that. He didn't get the chance to do that during the debate. He did that on a show last night. And that is a great answer. Again, great answers doesn't mean great president. But as of right now, that's what we've got to go on.
Yeah, the biggest thing that we got to think about here is when some of this information comes out, think about it logically. Like the part that bothers me most is all of these people are pointing, oh, he's from Big Pharma. And it's like, why aren't you pointing at Trump for Big Pharma?
Exactly.
If you're going to point out Big Pharma, point at Trump too. Don't be doing that. Don't be picking sides like that.
Yeah.
He is big pharma's pocket for Pfizer and Moderna and J&J.
J&J,
Like,
big time.
don't be picking sides. You have to be equal. And when it comes down to it, Trump still did great things. Again, for all of you Trumpers that are going to come at me, like, he did. But be keeping the same energy across the board for all candidates running for president.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Where am I? I want to find a different video. So anyway, so back real quick. I wanted to, because I want to field regular questions today. It sounds fun.
Yeah, let's do
So
it.
back to where we were talking about the race issue. So the problem is, and like you said, we still don't know the manifesto of the transgender shooter in Nashville. There was 3 mass shootings in a row that were done by like 3 big news stories. And then once they found out they were transgender, it's like the stories disappeared. There was a black guy in Flint, or no, not Flint, Michigan State. If anybody remembers this, at the college campus less than a year ago, he went going around college campus, I think going into the winter, or going into the winter break, shot up a bunch of people. And it was like mass shooter on Michigan State's campus. And everybody in the media is licking their chops. Like, all right, it's go time. And then right when I didn't hear any updates for 2 hours, I knew what was going on. It was a black shooter. And then all of a sudden some security came out. So that's the issue behind this. They're perpetuating a lie. And Rocky and I had a great conversation. If you missed it last night, Rocky, have you ever heard of, Casey, have you ever heard of the study they did where they put a scar on the scar on people's faces with makeup, and then had them go into a job interview, and they were seeing if they would be judged for their scar, but they did a last minute makeup touch up, and they removed the scar like nothing was there. But the last thing they thought is there's a scar there. When they came out, they gave all the reasons they felt as though they were judged and why they did not have a good interview, even though they were completely normal. That's exactly what the media and what our government does when it pushes a race narrative, when it pushes the black people can't. Black people don't have the same rights. Black people don't have the same fair chance. Oprah going like, it's unfair to be black. I'm worth $1.73 billion. You can't make it in America if you're black. And she is it's mind boggling. But when you do that to people, you are able to control that population. When you control that population of black people, you've given them the ability to always make an excuse of why they are going to fail. And that's the problem with this. And these stories are a perfect example. Find out it's a white shooter. If you don't forget, Casey, do you remember that they said the reason they're not giving out any more information about the transgender shooter is they don't want copycats? Then why are they doing it? Because they're like, it's dangerous. We don't want them to. Then why are you doing it about this? If white supremacy is so dangerous, this would be a copycat situation, wouldn't it?
No, they're telling the truth. They're just lying to your face that people believe it in a different narrative. But what it is, it's actually such a mental illness. It is true that you will have copycats inside the transgender community because they are mentally ill and they need help. And this is their out. So they are not lying to you. They are telling you the truth.
Maybe. I know what you're saying, but they're telling the truth to the back of our face. So yeah, it's just it is the epitome of misinformation and disinformation, and it's like, who in the media, how high up are the people that make the decision to split this up? And we've talked about this in shows past, and it's just, yeah, there you go, Tracy. Rachel Mad Cow, perfect example. It's funny. I'm gonna keep going on diversions here. There was a post that was non-political and said, if you can remove one thing from this world, what would it be? And the first thing that I saw on my feed was some crazy, deranged, lefty, middle-aged, older dude saying Trump. I said, this is a perfect example of the delusion that you are in, that you have the chance to get rid of hunger. You have and just by words, this is a hypothetical. But to show you how Looney Tunes you are, you can get rid of hunger. You can get rid of war. You can get rid of racism. You can say, well, you could pick your one thing, and you pick Trump. You are that deluded, that delusional, that ignorant, that stupid. That's your pick. So I called him out on it. And what did this idiot do? Instead of, I thought that, the best thing they could do is probably just stop talking. They responded with, yes, but Trump encapsulates all of those things, and getting rid of him would cause such a massive change in this world. This is the level of absolute idiocy based on what the media has taken the weakest of the flock and tricked them into believing. And unfortunately, the weakest of the flock has grown to a large scale. It's ridiculous. That's
Dude,
it. I just had to
it's
divert
horrible.
there. It's
Yeah.
horrible.
I'm downloading a squirrel PNG so I can pull it up every time you get distracted by the
Squirrel.
comments.
Yeah, we should. Today I feel like getting distracted. Not gonna lie, because we have like 32 topics to cover that we'll never be able to properly cover. So I want to make sure that I get to some of them. So all right. So let's go to the next topic real fast. Let's start rapid fire. What do we got? Biden. Now let's do Oliver Anthony. Let's go. We're gonna go to a happy story. So there you go. I like it. That's great. Let's go to a happy story. Let's go to Oliver Anthony. So everybody knows who Oliver Anthony is now. He's the ultimate populist, and he clearly leans right, but also does not love the Republicans. And the Democrats are like, he called out the right wing. He's our guy. He's not. He's nobody's guy. He hates all of you, just like we do. That's my dude. You hate them all. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the key that a lot of people have not been paying attention to because they don't report this interesting Christian narrative. And I heard it actually the most unlikely of places, Casey, is where I saw this clip. I saw it on somebody's show that is a known atheist. I believe as though the voice in the background was Hulk Hogan, but it was an interview between Joe Rogan and Hulk Hogan. And we all know that Joe Rogan is very outspoken about atheism. And the clip, which again, the context could go different ways, but it made me look it up more. And I think Casey's got a little bit more of the example behind it. But Oliver Anthony battled addiction. He then decided he was at a rock bottom type place, hated his, disliked his job. And he prayed for salvation. He said he had strayed from God and all these different things. He prayed for salvation, prayed for God to save him and give him signs and whatever it was. This happened a month before his whole life changed by doing a backyard, whoever's backyard it was, style music video with decent to mediocre editing and a catchy lyrics and song that spoke to truly the soul of America. And you can't think that that's not God in some way or another. When you are literally at a rock bottom, you could barely pay your bills, nothing is going right, and you're a dude with a mediocre, crappy, guitar that sings folk music, and the next thing you know, you give your life to God. A month later, your whole life is different. Come on,
dude. He's not the only one that I've heard this from. Like this, he's a celebrity. I have friends like we talked backstage about, and one could be watching, so I'm not going to throw his name out. But they state the same thing. They turned to God and they trusted God and they allowed God to lead them, and their life significantly changed.
Yeah.
And so when he says that, and when I heard that, I was like, I'm not surprised. When you listen to I Got to Get Sober, he wrote that in the middle of COVID at a time that he felt he needed to get sober. He was smoking a lot of weed and drinking a lot of alcohol, and he needed to turn to change. And turns out he was just being the most authentic person I probably ever heard have a microphone in front of their face. I can't think of anybody that has been that authentic. And he gets on a video after the debates and is like, conservatives, Republicans, why are you playing my video? I find it funny. I made that song for everybody on that stage.
Yeah.
Not for a certain side. And that is how I feel. Like, I really hate both sides. I don't care. If you tell me you are a Republican, we're going to have some conversations, because why are you all in on one side?
Right.
Like, they hate you just as much as the Democrats do. They just swap sides every decade. That's all they're doing.
No doubt. Yeah. So people don't, the little known story, you actually Googled it, Casey, didn't you?
Yeah, I had it up. I can pull it back up real quick.
So you don't need to pull it up. Just if you can find the link, put it in the comments so people can learn a little bit more about the story. Because everybody's talking about, he hates, it's political. He hates he hates the Democrats, and everybody's ignoring the the angel in the room, which is the fact that he correlates this to giving his life to God. Within a month, his life changed. And I think that that's all, amazing. Audrey, that's it. God not only heard Oliver, he answered him. He does. And you know what? Don't get mad at God if you pray for something and it doesn't, and you beg for something and it doesn't happen right away. Like this is, this is not the ideal. Like this isn't every time. This is the ideal, but this is not the norm, is what I should say. All right, next, let's get it. Well, make sure you go on my Instagram, Truth Will Set You Free USA, as it's got the video, the full 3-minute video of the idiot teacher or principal and that kid, the Gadsden flag, the Don't Tread on Me flag. The teacher has no idea what it's about. These are the people teaching our children. They don't know what the Don't Tread on Me flag is actually revolutionary. She said it was, well, it's offensive and it's about slavery. God bless it. Our schools are broken. All right, let me pull this up. Oop. All right, it's ready to go. And are you frozen, Casey? Are you there? Oh, Casey is definitely frozen. Definitely frozen. Oh, he's back, kind of. Maybe frozen. I don't know. There he is. I see you. All right, I'm gonna share the screen. We're gonna play this real quick. All right. I'm going to go ahead and re-click on it.
Hey. Did anyone get that? Yeah.
Did anyone get that?
Daryl.
You better move.
You better move.
They changed.
Get out now!
We're not violent.
On the ground! All of you on the ground now! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Don't move!
We're environmental protesters.
Stop resisting! Stop resisting!
I'm a cop, and you will respect my authority.
I had to add in that little bit at the end. I thought that was fitting. So the great thing is, anybody that's like, those police were out of order, all you have to do is tell them that they weren't regular cops. They were tribal police, which means they're on a reservation, which means they get to do whatever the hell they want. They don't operate under the same laws. That's the kind of shit our police need to be doing to people, so they don't do stupid shit. So we're not going to talk about the police. We're going to talk about the fact that these climate protesters are so insanely stupid that they are causing more pollution by causing a backup that went for miles heading into Burning Man, which is a predominantly liberal left-wing group of people. So you're pissing off your own people, causing emissions to go skyrocket through the roof. And you're literally just a bunch of idiots.
Have you seen any of the other videos before the Ranger got there? There's a whole bunch of other videos out there. They were getting pissed. You were seeing, you saw people getting upset and were wanting to fight over this. And I'm like, good. And you people, and I hate saying it, you people, but this is
what do you mean, you people?
That would normally be in support of this. But no, because you have interrupted me getting to Burning Man, I'm going to lose my mind. And you have all of these people getting upset at these people blocking the road, going to Burning Man. And then when you think about it, the whole picture, wait a minute, they're for the climate, but you look in the background, you see miles of cars on this road, and they're not sitting out there without AC running. So their car's running. And it's like, you guys are idiots. If you were to stand there with a sign and wave at people, you would have more of an impression and make more of an impact than you would interrupting traffic.
It's a certain kind of special. And it did look like, I could be wrong, but it looked like there was a trailer bed there, which they had all their stuff on. So they had to drive it there, right?
Yes. Well, did you see that they're chained to it?
I saw that. That doesn't take away from the fact that there's no way that a hybrid or an electric car pulled that thing out in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, it could. It's a flatbed. It's all just not
It's
that
light,
heavy.
I
But
know. But let's
yeah,
be honest. We don't. Maybe a hybrid pulled it. I don't know. But like,
I'll go the stance that they probably don't know how to hook up a trailer on a hitch. How
yeah,
about
that's
that?
the other confusing part. That's why it's like, did Soros make sure that they had this all set up in the right way? Let's take a look at this. All right, let's go right into Nikki Haley. So Nikki Haley faced some backlash, quote unquote, after making a controversial social media post implying she didn't want Kamala Harris to become president of the United States of America, or president of the United States. Sorry, everyone in America can see. This is what I believe the tweet reads. Everyone in America can see Joe Biden's decline and have concerns about his ability to serve a second term. They know a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for Kamala Harris. The media needs to stop protecting Biden and tell America the truth. I don't even know how that could even be spun into racism, Casey.
I just to think that people will vote for Biden for Kamala Harris is the most ignorant statement I've ever heard. Like, she is the most disliked vice president. If we actually did a poll on that, I guarantee you she doesn't even get into double digits. No way.
No, not even. Henry, we agree on something. God bless.
Yes.
I don't care. You're ruining people's day. It doesn't work. And I saw you make a comment about Vivek, which makes me believe you're a anti-Trump Republican, which is fine. I'm not a Trump voter in the primary, to be clear. I mean, granted, that might be changing. That's how we're going to end the show. Mo is always that
Romney over here.
No, Mo always used to say that he's like that Trump is like an abusive ex-boyfriend that's like really like the really good sex that you just keep going back to. Like every so often there's certain things that like I'm off the Trump train. I've been off the Trump train I'm listening. Okay, I'm listening. Anyways, you're supposed to throw the squirrel up there, by the way. Because I got distracted.
I'm not used to that. So yes, I'm gonna have to get used to that.
Yeah. The Atlantic writer Jemele Hill immediately hits back at the inflammatory statement claiming that Haley appeared to be attempting to appeal to racists as Harris is multiracial. So just because Kamala Harris is multiracial, her statement of not wanting her was not because of policy, not because she makes a fool of herself on a national stage, not because she speaks in poetry that is actually written by a 4-year-old, it seems, but because she's black. So she says, so part of the reason racism is such a terrible sickness in this country is because politicians like this, aka Nikki Haley, know they can rally a certain base with the fear of, oh my God, a black woman might be president if you don't vote for me. Hill wrote alongside shared tweet. Then we all want to act surprised when the most hateful part of the base decides they need to act out of their feelings of hatred. So they're probably also blaming that statement from Nikki Haley on what happened in Jacksonville. This is the world's largest stretch I have ever seen in my life. And I've talked about Jemele Hill on our show before. Jemele Hill is literally the lowest form of woke journalism that should never have a job ever again. She believes she's the world's largest victim when she has had a platform on ESPN for however long without having any actual talent. And now her opinions get her more press when in all reality, she literally makes 0 sense and has only gotten to where she is because she's black. Boom, said it. Don't give a shit.
Dude, it's there's two things with this. One, it's to 2024 election season for saying you ain't black if you don't vote for me. That's pretty much all that is. The other thing, Kamala is not even black. She's from India. That's her ancestry. That's her ancestry is India. She demanded to be admitted into the Senate as being the first Indian American being elected into the Senate. So in that case, why is she just changing cards like she changes underwear? Because she wants votes.
Yeah. Trina, you're right. The advocate of Kamala just there was Jemele Hill, and her advocacy was based on the fact that she's multiracial, because that's a reason to be president. So why don't we just make any random multiracial? You know what? There's a lot. I make you a bet there is There's 340 million people on this in this country. How many are adults? I don't know. I make you a bet on the multiracial side, just based on the percentages. I make you a bet there's at least 10 million white or black, multiracial or black, or people of color that are actually more intelligent, more qualified than Kamala Harris. I'm going to throw that out there. I'm just saying.
Qualified for what position?
Anything that, like, we're talking anything from Walmart, that, like, if she were to try to be going for a management position at Walmart, she's better maybe than a door greeter or a cashier. So a management position at Walmart all the way up to the president of the United States. If you want to lower your standards, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that there is probably 10 million multiracial people in this country that are more qualified than her.
So you're telling me she would be more successful on OnlyFans than being a vice president?
At this point, honestly, I think she would. I mean, she's talked about the, woman's right, do all the things with your body. And I make you a bet there is a subsect of liberal, leftist, white, suburban house dads that have been voting left and don't know how to think for themselves that will definitely get off on a little Krusty the Clown action, if you know what I mean. Did I take that too far? Somebody hasn't seen Cash in a while. Cash, so he's got a very I'm going to do it, Casey.
I'm getting there. I don't have a mouse. There we go.
Get there. Squirrel. Okay. We haven't talked about Cash in a little bit. So Cash is, I just talked to Erica. Side note, do you message him? Are you able to use that email site?
No, I wasn't told there was one.
4 links. It's never works for me, but apparently I don't know. So we can't get a hold of him much. He gets 500 minutes a whole month, and he's got 342 children that he talks to. All I do know is most likely he will be out either in December or February. So we're getting close. And then of course he will be with every show that we could possibly put him on. Because he's a felon, so he's going to have trouble getting work. So it's going to be relying up to this kind of stuff. And I'm sure that he will have hundreds of thousands of people following him again when he gets out. That's it on that. Oh, okay, let's go.
It's going to take a little bit longer to get that 100,000, I think. But
I don't know. It's Cash. I mean, he had 400,000. I think he can get 100,000 pretty quick because I got a couple shows that I'm going to be able to get him on at different people. So he'll be able to grow his following pretty quick.
Yeah, just the Q followers are not going to be there. Yeah,
the Q followers are not going to be happy with his stance on things now. That's true. Biden talking about Strom Thurman. Oh yeah, do we have anything from the Biden talking about Strom Thurman? I can pull that up real quick.
I do not.
Biden says he convinced Strom Thurman. Biden and Strom Thurman. Let's see. All right. Biden claims to have literally convinced. Actually, do I have the quote or do I have the actual video? Oh, let me see if I have this. Yeah, here it is. We're going to go ahead and play the video. Sweet. That was a quick find.
I just got it.
Pull up
He's
this video.
Such an idiot.
God, he's so dumb. This is our president. He is that dumb. We're going to go ahead and show this. I believe that. I trust that, Donald. Let's see. Present. Share screen. There it is. Okay. Here we go.
Pause for just a moment. I thought things had changed. I was able to, literally, not figuratively, talk Strom Thurman into voting for the Civil Rights Act before he died. And I thought, well, maybe there's real progress. But hate never dies. It just hides. It hides under the rocks. Pause for just a moment. I thought things had changed. I was able to, literally, not figuratively, talk Strom Thurman into voting for the Civil Rights Act before he died. And I thought, well, maybe there's real progress. But hate never dies. It just hides. It hides under the rock.
Wow. So they have just given up on fact checking this clown. So he is literally telling people that when he was 21 years old, to a guy that was, everybody knows Strom Thurman was a huge racist. He was the one, and this is why I also think the civil rights movement is also bullshit, because it was formulated by racists. Everything, a lot of the policies in it has been what's caused things like mass incarceration in the 80s, the war on drugs, single parent household, single mother house, all the different things were actually an offshoot of what happened in the civil rights movement. What the welfare system being abused, all because of that. So when Lyndon B. Johnson, that's his push, and Strom Thurman signs off on it. First off, get all the politics that I just said out of it. The fact that we are looking at a current president telling a story about as a young 21-year-old man talking to his buddy who is a raging racist, that he convinced him to vote for the 21-year-old Joe Biden. Stuttering Joe decided at 21 years old that he was going to make a stand against Strom Thurman. You've got to be kidding me. And of course, Strom Thurman's dead, so nobody can corroborate this story, but just the same as he pretends to have talked about his dad or his uncle's Purple Heart or whatever bullshit that nobody on the media cares about. It's insanity.
It's Joe Biden's life. That's all it is. It's full of lies. None of it's true. Like, let's say it is true. We'd have to go back through the 1994 crime bill and go through every little thing and find out what Strom Thurman would benefit from that's in that bill that no one talked about.
Yeah.
That could be why he got his support. But all in all, Joe Biden, when talking about Strom Thurman and then claiming that he is the representative of the black vote, because he said that numerous times during 2020 election. Really? Are you? Because it sounds like you have the wrong friends.
Big time. So, all right, guys, this is where I get to, you could take everything I just said and let me also break down why all of this, why it was wrong from a factual perspective. So Biden born 1942. Yes. Civil Rights Act passed 1964. So he would have been 21, 22 years old. I think they've said 21. So
close enough.
But here's the problem. So was he buddies with Strom Thurman before he was in government? Because he didn't make it to the Senate until he was the youngest senator or whatever, when he was 29. So the dates don't match up at all. So from a factual perspective, it's actually impossible. And then to top it off, his whole comment before Strom Thurman died, that's an awkward statement. Strom Thurman died in 2003, which is almost 40 years after the Civil Rights Bill was passed. None of which came out of his mouth makes any sense. And I consider everyone dumber for having to hear what came out of his mouth.
Yeah. I'm going to go back and look up his history, because I bet he was involved in politics at some point in time prior to 29. He was either an intern or he was involved in some way behind the scenes. And that is where a lot of this started coming up, and making friends with the wrong people to where then he could leverage that to boost his popularity within the political arena. That happens all the time. And by the way, it happens all the time on both sides.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that happen on the Republican side and on the Democrat side that no one talks about and no one wants to talk about, because you're going to expose a lot of the dirty laundry of politics. That lawsuits get filed, but political opponents will not participate in them because it is political suicide. So if a political election was overturned or went astray, those opponents generally won't file lawsuits or be a part of those lawsuits because it is political suicide.
Yeah. No doubt. I'm trying to find one picture because there's a story I'm going to add at the very end of the show. All right. So let's see. What year was he? What year was he Puerto Rican? That's funny. He's been Jewish. He's been Puerto Rican. He's been friends with rabbis. He's everything. He's multi-talented. So Jacksonville, we covered Jemele, talking about Biden and Strom Thurman, tribal police, Oliver Anthony. Did we really? Mugshot and Trump's popularity, and then we'll wrap it up with the story about these sorority sisters losing their case with the uncomfortably creepy transgender male in their sorority. Anyways, I already forgot what we were doing. Trump's so the mugshot heard around the world, which might I add, I'm going to go ahead and we got to show this badass design.
The mug that's selling all over the place.
This is the first time we've had a good seller since cash stuff. And hey, Casey, did you see my
Unvaccinated Lives Matter did well?
It did well. Not as well as this, not as fast. Did you see my idea for the new shirt that we're going to bring up? It's in Slack.
Text it to me?
It's in Slack.
Oh, in Slack. I am.
Oh, you like it? We'll add it later. We'll add it later, but it's going to say trust God, not the plan, and the plan in parentheses. Inspired, of course, by going to Reawaken, which might I add, they're big on not the people that are actually speaking are like, stop trusting the effing plan, do something. So I appreciate that.
I like that. I just pulled it up on my phone. I like it.
Yeah, it's good little design. Anyways, just so you know, and this is not to sell anything. This is to talk about the mugshot. So we did the T-shirt, and they were like, it'd be clever as a mugshot. So this is what the mugshot looks like in his thing, and of course the crazy deranged leftist saying that this is a sign of look at how he's looking at the camera. Stanley Kubrick. That's for Sherry Covens because she is literally batshit fucking crazy. Sorry, Nancy. So. This mugshot situation and the look at how the black community is starting to rally around Donald Trump, I think brings up what's that? Yeah, but huge. And I think that this brings up a very interesting point that if the message of the black community can get across to the bleeding heart liberal, this is Rose dead. She always gets this stuff. I think that this is, how we said that it's going to be hard for Trump to win a general election. If he can get not the black people to vote, but the black people to speak up and say, these crazy white liberals don't speak for me. All of a sudden, some of those suburban housewives that are like, we just have to help all black people. It's Trump hates black people. I think that could actually start to shift the vote, whether we believe the vote will be free and fair or a different story, whatever it might be. I think that this is an interesting turn. And as much as I may not be a Trump primary voter, I do believe he is going to be the person elected. I looked at the chain of events of all of the different litigation coming up for him and the timing right around Super Tuesday, right around the beginning of January. It's so blatantly obvious they are doing this as a strategy against him so that he cannot get the nomination. And how it would be perfect if he gets convicted of something right after he wins the Super Tuesday and becomes clearly the Republican nominee. They are literally doing this without care for the people in America that think about the fact that this is clearly targeting the other side, or targeting their political opposition.
Yeah, I was trying to find it. Fox News. Can't remember if it was Fox News or CNN did a poll recently since he was what was it? Is it technically charged? It's not sentenced, charged. And when he went through that process, there was a bunch of polls showing black voters for Biden versus black voters for Trump. In 2020, it was black voters like 9% for Trump, most were Biden, and then it's flipping completely reverse for Trump now. Yeah. And I'm like, it's a done deal. Like I've said it. Trump's gonna win. Every indictment just furthers other people's like they're gonna vote for him. I will tell you, I will vote for him if Vivek ends up as the VP, which I think is pretty likely right now. I think it's possible.
Yeah, and I'm seeing big holes in DeSantis's campaign. Robert F. Kennedy, as expected, it has gone from like 19% back down to 12%. The media got to the leftists. The leftists don't know how to think for themselves and have free thought, so they can't do anything out of the norm because they're completely controlled by the media, and they did a great job ending Robert F. Kennedy's run, which is unfortunate because everybody knows how much I love Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Maybe he will have a place in a Republican administration. I believe as though he's earned that, especially from the conservative voter. But I mean, with Vivek's questions, again, he's still my leader on the Republican side, just ahead of DeSantis and Trump. I don't know. Trump is some of the stuff like, being around some of the people at this event, seeing Don Jr. talk. I love Don Jr.
Yes.
He's reeling me back in, and it's like the people like Henry that don't like, lock her up that's very different. Let me actually address this. That's an interesting statement. The lock her up chant. She wasn't actually the political opposition. Once he won, which by the way, she never admits that he won, to be clear, she still contests the election and says he wasn't a legitimate president. She can say it. We can't.
No indictments.
Lock her up. She destroyed a server. She literally hammered a server, and it actually led to the death of American soldiers and diplomats. And then she wasn't planning on running it. She wasn't running for president the next time. His chant was to lock her up because he believed that she was guilty of crimes. Donald Trump is being charged based on mostly hearsay in terms of, well, he knew better than to think that he won the election. Very different than destroying evidence. And then if you want to get into the Presidential Records Act or think that he had these illegal records, which is they've actually used verbiage of espionage, which is laughable because there was no actual secrets given to foreign powers, but they're giving these words like espionage. The Presidential Records Act is questionable in terms of what he did. But why are we not bringing up the fact that Joe Biden had it in a much less secure area and in one building that was actually funded by the country by the political party in China? So, I mean, if we're gonna call one out, then let's call it all out. So if you're talking about targeting political opposition, the lock her up chant was because we believe she was guilty of a crime and it had nothing to do with her run for the next presidency, which she never did.
And then Trump also said the Clintons are great people and he is not going to go after her after he won. Don't forget that.
What is Henry talking about?
Did Trump get charged with destroying his video surveillance? No. Actually, what's interesting is right now in the case against him regarding, is it Atlanta or one of the Jack Smith ones? So not Atlanta. The one before Atlanta, indictment number 3, they destroyed actual evidence regarding what happened during the quote unquote insurrection. So that was actually Jack Smith, which they're being told they're allowed to do that, destroy the evidence that proves that things were fishy. But you know what? Fuck it. Go ahead and believe whatever you want. I'm going through CBS's news of his 4 indictments, and I'm on to 3, and I have not found anything about.
I know what he's talking about. It's the 4th indictment. No, it's the first indictment. It's the first indictment. Yeah, the classified documents. Sorry, there it is right there. This is regarding the classified documents. There is the audio recording, and I remember that. He was saying, God, what was the actual verbiage? Because we talked about it on the show. He literally, that was actually, I remember. It was the lawyer, which was really funny to me that one of his lawyers that was no longer working for him said there's actually no recording. The recording is actually done in the deposition that the lawyer that used to work for Trump, so he betrayed attorney-client privilege without a recording. He literally just said that Trump told him. There's no actual recording, or is there? Sorry, it's been a bit. I want to make sure I get this right. There was a recording. It wasn't very clear what he was saying. It could be taken multiple ways. The thing that I found weird is why was his lawyer, sorry, I had to go back several months. Why was his lawyer recording him during what should be client-attorney privileged conversations? If you don't think that's not a bear trap, I don't know what is. And what he was saying is it what he's, I keep remembering more as we go. Is there anything that could get me in trouble? He asked the question, is there anything wrong in there? That's not saying to destroy anything. Sorry, it took me a long time to get there. I apologize. It took me a long time to get there, but that's what was actually on there. That one to him showing, he goes, I shouldn't even show these documents, meaning he probably shouldn't be It's such a gray area. And again, I've said even then, I go, if there's something wrong done here, we should actually talk about it. And that first case was the classified documents had the most legitimate claims in it, all of which can be discussed with the Presidential Records Act, to be very clear, and also can be discussed with the fact that every president did it. And yes, Henry, I did watch it. You're bringing
and
up
vice president.
And vice presidents aren't allowed to have any of that stuff.
Well, you had Pence with documents and Biden with documents, both when they were VPs.
So yeah, that's my question for you, Henry. So do we just take any of these documents, anybody that had them, and again, anybody that uses words like, hey, I need to find a certain amount of votes, which is literally regarding a recount and seeing if there is the right amount of votes, because recounts are always show that there is a different number. And also the fact that the mail-in ballots were bullshit. And then you have the conversation regarding the classified documents when you're like, is there anything that gets me in trouble? You're totally allowed to ask your lawyer that. Why it's recorded should be your question. So now let's see, everyone else did it. You're right. You're right, Henry. But then why is it not so are you mad at everybody else? Bring charges. They can't, because the Department of Justice is so bought and paid for by the absolutely insanely corrupt Democratic Party and establishment Republicans. Let's be very clear. The establishment Republicans want all these charges against Trump because he will bring them down as well if he gets in. Hopefully, theoretically, by verbiage, we can all hope that if that happens. Obama allowed the VP to have them. That's actually not part of the Presidential Records Act. It actually has to be declassified. The only way that he could do that is if he declassifies it at the place of records, and then gives it to the VP there. All right, last news story. Let's see. Here it comes. This is just insanity. Covered by The Blaze, Fox, a couple of different places. Bringing it up on the screen. So here it is. The court will not define a woman. Judge throws out the woman's lawsuit at this sorority. I don't know where it was. Let's see where it was. The lawsuit, 6 Wyoming sorority members, was thrown out by a judge. There it is. That's the guy, girl, the transgender that they said is allowed to be a part of the sorority. So the lawsuit of the 6 sorority members was thrown out by a judge who said the sorority rules did not define what a woman is. So they're using the sorority bylaws, but stated that a court should not interfere with their freedom of association. So they actually, if you go into it, they actually agreed that this is probably a bad situation, but based on the bylaws, they were allowing her to say 7 female students at the University of Wyoming filed a lawsuit against their sorority Kappa Kappa Gamma after a man was allowed to join the all-female group and even lived in the sorority house. U.S. District Court said that they threw out the lawsuit on the shocking grounds that the sorority's bylaws do not define what a woman is. So apparently, because they didn't say the state the obvious scientific measure that a woman is a woman, that's how they were able to use the loophole and allow this woke bullshit to continue. With its inquiry beginning and ending there, the court will not define a woman today, Johnson said. The actual district court judge said, according to the Post, the students filed the lawsuit after Artemis. You know that there's a mental illness when you rename yourself Artemis. Artemis Langford, a male, joined the chapter, but Langford was referred to as a student. Oh, no, that was his real name? Okay, the parents fucked up there. The pseudonym Terry Smith, just because the female student wanted to spare Langford. I'm so confused. Wanted to spare Langford of threats and attacks, and they hope to see Langford treated with kindness and respect. The judge ordered the female students to reveal their names if they wanted to continue the lawsuit, but later dismissed the case despite 6 of the 7 women adhering to the demand. So they all did it. They all but one did what they said. They said they give their names. So now their names are out there. It's public record. And a 6'2", 260-pound male that pretends to be a woman, that there has been complaints, by the way, that he has been ogling them when they are in different clothes and close to nude, so these girls can't feel safe. This is the world we live in.
Clown world, man. Clown world. I'm really speechless because this stuff cannot be accepted as normal and should not be accepted as normal. Unfortunately, we can't fix it all. And there's things that are much more important than fighting this on a national level. Locally, that's where this can be addressed. But from a national level, we got bigger things to deal with.
Don't know.
Why would
Sorry,
you want to live with a group of people that filed?
What'd you say?
I was reading Henry's comment because I didn't catch that when you pulled it up. That's interesting.
I agree with 30% of what Henry says. That's showing the level of idiocy, because it's literally to make a point And it's a control issue of like this dude and his sickness gets to completely invade these women's. When you're a sick puppy, which clearly this dude is, you're a sick puppy. So you're going to want the tension. You're going to want to be able to play victim. You're going to want to be able to be a part of that situation. It's disgusting. So, all right. That's it. That's the end of the show.
Absolutely disgusting.
So ridiculous. It's Wyoming too. It's like they got to pick out these random places. So to end it, if you like any of the supplements that we use, go to thedrartisshow.com. Use BFD at checkout for 10% off. Century H2O. Almost done with my water for the show. Gallon of water, by the way, I've been drinking a day, including when I was traveling in Vegas, which everybody got sick but me. I wasn't drinking Century water out there because we didn't have the filter out there. But I'm down. What am I down right now? I'm down like 17 pounds since I got off the rodeo road. Since Casey saw me looking like a chubby bunny, I've fittened up. I feel good. I feel swole, and it's mostly water and working out. So there it is. So that's where that is. Century H2O. I'm like, literally, this is going to be the one I'm telling you, because plastic bottles suck ass. Please, please make the investment on yourself based on, it'll pay for itself in a year and a half compared to even Brita water filters. So, use Russo 10 on that one, and I love that I now see this when I pull it up. Pya. So good. Last but not least, Wake Now Woke Store. Use Wake for, don't use Revenge for the next week, however long we have it up. Go get the mug, go get with the shirt, whatever you want to get.
You know, I haven't put an ending date on it. Let's keep Revenge up through the 5th. So it goes through Labor Day weekend.
Through Labor Day. And then, you know what? Keep it up through the 7th, which is my birthday. We'll do it through my birthday.
Okay.
Maybe we'll do a different, you know what? No, it's going to go through the 5th. We're going to go back to normal on my birthday. Never mind, because I need to make money for my birthday in order to pay for the hookers and cocaine. There it is.
Okay, Hunter Biden.
Yeah. David, those pics will never, ever be seen by any. I was actually 100, and he's got pictures of me like running around drunk and nude like Hunter Biden. But again, don't ask. I was like 186 pounds in those pictures, and I'm 209 right now. All right. That's it. That's all I got for you guys. Am I forgetting one? Oh, yeah. And if you ever want to support the show, that's this guy right here. Patreon.com/BeTheChangeUSA. Apparently, people can't charge a credit card right now. Who knows? You can always give on Venmo, or I don't really know. I don't really care. Apparently, I don't care about making money. So, all right. God bless, guys. Casey, final words?
Don't trust the government. That's all I got today.
And don't trust this dude if he's in a woman's locker room. Plain and simple. Ladies, God bless. Later.